Hello, and welcome back to another great episode of hashtag Screw the W2. And have another great guest joining us actually from Reno, Nevada. CJ, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, thanks. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Yeah, but thank you. Thanks for coming on. I'm glad we were able to make this work. So
Yeah.
now, first question I always ask my guests, can you maybe take us back in time? What was your, previous W2 job? What was it like? What was maybe an average day for you?
Oh, yeah. Man, we're coming up on 4 years
Okay.
removed.
Hey, almost the
So,
same for me.
oh, awesome. Good minds attract. For me, my profession prior to where I'm at today was a UPS driver, and that
Okay.
was something that I stepped to at the age of 19, and I found myself in what I thought was the best situation for my life.
Hmm.
Good union jobs, steady work, uh, well paid profession, good benefits, good medical, good retirement, the whole gambit that I was raised to strive for. And
Right.
I worked my way through the ranks. I started off as a part-timer who loaded the trucks and did all the dirty work for the drivers as they started their day. And I became the youngest Hawaii driver at the time to be a full-time UPS driver at the age of 21.
Wow.
And I just continued to grow and get more proficient and more productive as a UPS driver. And I became somebody around the safety ranks. So I operated as somebody just under the president of the safety committee. And my days were long and inconsistent. And it was never a shortage of, all right, am I going to get my 40? It was always like, where am I going to cut it off? You
Yeah.
know,
By what
so
day am I going to hit 40?
exactly. And then there's this fun time of year. Some people call it Christmas.
Ah,
And
yeah.
for us, it starts
You
in
mean that's busy for
October.
you? I don't understand.
Mm, just a little bit. And it may have played a little part into why I chose to do what I do today.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so the work days are very exciting in a fact where you don't know what you're going to get.
Okay.
Every day is unique. You have the monotony of doing deliveries. However, it's never to the same person, never to the same business, never in the same weather, climate. And it was exciting. It was fun. And I found myself content in that
Okay.
position.
Sounds good. Now, with that, obviously you said every day is, a little different, and that little teeny tiny holiday called Christmas, might cause the activity levels to go up a bit. But was there like one specific moment, or maybe even like a series of moments of that you realized, hey, this is a great, union job, benefits, pay, et cetera, but I need to get out of here. There's something different, or what was that moment like for you?
Absolutely. It's very vivid. So one particular wonderful Christmas we were preparing for, and we weren't ultimately we weren't prepared. It was like
Okay.
a Christmas out of I put it out of hell. It was just this isn't real. How are we processing and moving this much stuff? And
Hmm.
this one Christmas in general, we were so short staffed. I was working 7 days a week. I wasn't seeing my wife, my kids, my family. So that whole joy of the season around being those you
Hmm.
love, being around those you love, and having those memories you cherish, and being able to wake up with your kids all excited and stuff was something I only got to live through my dreams.
Hmm.
And it took me 4 or 5 months to work through this season, which typically would end right after Christmas because there's nothing after that. But it
Okay.
carried into February of the following year. And during that time frame, with the amount of hours and days I was spending away, missing my kids in the morning, missing my wife in the morning, coming home so late that they're sleeping, and
Jeez.
it's just this. It just sucked. If I were to put
Yeah.
it in words, it just sucked. And it came to the conclusion can't picture myself doing this for 40 more years.
Hmm.
It's just not something I enrolled for. Um, Lifestyle is great. I was comfortable, I was content until I wasn't. And this was
Sure.
that moment. This was that pain point that gave me that aha, like there's gotta be another way. So after that Christmas, me and my wife had that serious conversation around how am I able to leave? Still
Okay.
be able to maintain this lifestyle that we've worked so hard to have and achieve, and be able to have the time freedom to now choose in or out of these types of situations.
Gotcha. No, it makes sense. Yeah. So once you had that realization, like you said, it sucked, just not seeing your kids, your wife, and working these just ungodly hours, and you realized, I can't do this for the next 4 decades. What was like the next step? What were your steps to, get out of the rat race, as I call it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's not exactly where I thought I'd be, where I'm actually at today. My
Okay.
initial thoughts was I didn't think about it. It really wasn't even on my mind. It was almost like I was just wanting to run away from this uncomfortable situation and then telling myself this myth that I'll figure it out. And my wife is
Mhm.
opposite. She's the planner. She's like, we're gonna plan to succeed, not plan and fail, not plan and fail. So her thought process through this 3, 4, 5 month period where I wasn't home, she began researching what are opportunities, what are some ways we can replace that income so CJ doesn't have this opportunity again. And for
Mhm.
me, I stepped into just pure emotion around rage, frustration, anger, depression, and made that compulsive, I want to quit statement. No plan. So when we had this serious conversation as a couple after the season died down, she brought up real estate.
Okay.
She was tracking and following those that are successful, those that are wealthy, those that are rich, whatever title and label you want to choose, and notice that majority, if not all of them, had some level of real estate in their portfolio. And that intrigued her. And it led her down this path of let's go into this cash flow type of investment strategy, producing those
Hmm.
streams to replicate income. Being me, all emotional in the moment, I said, hell no, I don't know real estate. I'm not an agent. I don't have trade knowledge. I'm that is like the most uncomfortable thing you could throw in my direction. So, being the loving husband I was, I said, "You go do you."
All
and
right.
and I pivoted. I went opposite, which is intriguing now that I look back. She was my biggest supporter. She was
Mm,
100% on board for me to leave. And I chose to distance and resist that option purely out of scarcity, fear, the limiting
mhm.
belief mindset. And I chose into what I thought I was capable of doing. So I pivoted to startups. I pivoted to businesses that I could create, I could run, I could do,
Okay.
which that only takes you so far. And for most who have tried startups or know someone who has, majority of them don't succeed. And
Exactly.
I went through like 8 or 9 of them, and I came out 6, 9 months later more exhausted, more frustrated, more angry, more depressed, more money spent with no return to leverage, and more humbled is what I
Hmm.
take it as. It was a season I got to grow in. And it humbled me in a sense where I came to that conclusion. Like I stated, why am I resisting my biggest supporter?
Hmm.
So tail between the legs, head a little head a little down, more calm and emotionally checked in. I came back to her and said, let's try this. It
Okay.
scares me. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. You're talking about investing 2, 3 thousand miles away from where we currently live in Hawaii.
Yep.
And I got to be real. I don't know if this is real. And I trust you enough that you've been putting in all this time and effort for over a year looking into this. And she's been dripping on me this entire time. Let's just try. Let's just try.
Yep.
Let's just try. So I became a big supporter of her. And
Okay.
that's kind of where the shift happened to where it started this wonderful train of momentum.
Sure. No, it sounds good. Just out of curiosity, you said you had that shift and your wife was researching real estate. Where or what was your first real estate investment?
Yeah, so once I got on board, we started going to networking events and really fine-tuning our strategy we wanted to adopt and commit to. And
Okay.
she found buy and hold rental properties with cash flow streams of income as an interest. And through networking and meeting new people and getting more informed around the lingo and understanding the things that I thought I'd never know by simply being immersed in networking spaces, leveraging
Mm,
podcasts, leveraging YouTube, putting all this free information that's out there into practice was our goal, where we finally pulled the trigger. So we ultimately did all that free training stuff and got
yep.
enough confidence in and said, okay, turnkey seems to be something we're capable of. We have cash, we're mortgageable. it seems like the right play to just get our toes wet. We don't have to do any work. It should be that turn the key cash flow thing.
Right.
And we ended up buying our first property out in the Midwest through a turnkey provider.
Cool. Yeah, and I can attest to that. I've invested with turnkeys as well, and currently invested in 5 states. And people are like, do you have any regrets doing it? It's like, yeah, I didn't start sooner, but I can't go back in time.
Right.
So once you made that, pivot and shift, once you got past, well, these startups, aren't really working, that wasn't the directions, and then you went from the, turnkey, and then that first turnkey property. From that point to when you were able to leave your W-2 job, how long a time was that?
Was 4 years from the day we started.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it became just under 5 years when we got my wife out too.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Yeah, and it wasn't on the docket. She was satisfied with her position and her job, and just from consistently churning away and becoming better at our strategy and staying really focused too, disciplined too, we found that we as a team are amazing together, and we work.
Hmm.
We both have our unique capabilities, completely opposite of one another, which then fills the void of what one is lacking, the other steps into.
Yeah.
And we were able to leverage that and just build this beautiful momentum as a strong married couple, and create that. Okay, well, we got you out, CJ. How do we get Jazz out? And within a very short time frame after I left, she was out too.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my I like you said, I left my W-2 about 4 years ago. Eventually, hopefully my wife is able to as well. But like you said, she's very happy, very fulfilled with her career and where she's going. So it's like not a rush or urgency at this point. So with that, do you I know you said it was about 4 years, but do you remember the exact day or time that you went to your boss and say, here's my resignation letter, or how did that play out?
Yeah, it was funny because a UPS driver, it's a position that there's a waiting list to become one, a
Okay.
full timer. And when I chose out, I I accumulated a lot of leave, right? And we
Okay.
were able to bank some things and so forth. So I let them know. They are like, "We'll see you again next week,
Yep.
CJ." You know what I mean? I'm like, no, no, really, I'm not. And I told them that I was leaving in January of 2019.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm out this year. My anniversary is here. I'm gonna burn all the leave from that point out, and then I'm never coming back.
Sure.
And literally the week after that, I broke my arm in a softball game,
Oh, geez.
and I went out on off the job disability, which there's nothing unless you have insurance. I wasn't making anything, and I was still
Right.
satisfied because now I got like 6 months to just continue practicing what it's going to actually be like when I step away. And
Hmm.
it was like the most beautiful transition for me to set me up for just walking away, because I came back for a week just to say my goodbyes to all my friends and all my customers, which to me, my customers and my coworkers were my world, right?
Okay.
So just out of respect, I got to go back and say goodbye. And then I left and I never came back. And it was a period of time after I left that they're like, "So you sure you want to do this? So you sure you don't want to come back? There's this time of year called Christmas that's coming back up." I'm like,
Yep.
"Thank you. I'm good. I'm good, brother.
Yeah. No,
We're
I'll
good."
figure out something to occupy my time that during then.
Right. And the funny thing is I lived on my route, which was a cool thing. I used to be able to come home for lunch and stuff. And
Okay.
a real good friend of mine took over my route. And during Christmas, almost every single day, I'd just come out with my coffee or tea or whatever I was drinking in the morning, just like, "Have a great day.
Yeah.
Have a great
Cheers.
good luck. Cheers." And it's cool to see him now stepping into getting started
Okay.
now 4 years later in some of the things we're doing, and just getting informed, knowing that I've been out for 4 years. It is possible. A lot of the coworkers and mostly the bosses were thinking, we'll see you back in 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost kind of a motivation right there. It's like, no, you're not. I'll prove you
Oh,
wrong.
yep.
So now, obviously we kind of touched on, the low points, being away from your, family, the long hours, working late, etc. But, if there's like some positive spin to this, are there any regrets or anything you do miss from your W-2 job when you left back in 2019?
Yeah. It was the connections with the people. I love
Okay.
my customers. And what I come to realize is that I believe everything happens for a reason. That's my belief. Being in the position I was where I got to deliver and the way I performed at a level of excellence, I was one that would wait for somebody to come to the door when they got
Mm,
their package and I greet them and I just have conversations. And I feel I've taken that context to what we do today, where it's really about your connections with people. And when
hmm.
you're intentional with, it just means the world to other people because there's so much in today's world where it's so quick to, okay, hi, bye. There's
Yep.
no real connection developed. And my beautiful moments with my customers, especially when I left. I looked back and I must have had like 100 random people in my phone that had my personal number that would call me when there's an issue and continue to after I left that I kept in touch with for the most part. And obviously time over time, people move, people change numbers, and I've slowly lost touch with a lot of them. But there was just so much outpour of love when I left that I just genuinely felt that those connections that I made, that practice of being intentional with people really set me up for success in what I do today.
No, no, it makes sense. And yeah, I can definitely uh feel you there. When my previous W-2, I spent 12 years in copier and office equipment sales. So everyone had my cell phone and I still had calls, 6 months after that. I can't print, I can't scan, I can't copy. The machine's jammed. It's like, well, I help you, but I don't work for the company anymore. Sorry. What's been CJ with that? We're actually now past 4 years since you left your UPS job. What's been the maybe best thing, or what's the brought you the greatest, joy or satisfaction of leaving your W-2 and the journey you've been on now the last 4 years?
Gosh, if I, it's being able to choose
Okay.
the freedom of choice around what I'm setting my day to look like. Right? I was given a start time with no finish time. That's how UPS works. You start here, you finish when you're done. It's up to you on how you want to do that, and you get done when you get done. And
Okay.
now my days are around here's what I set up for the week. I get to spend time with my kids. I get to spend time with my wife. I get to choose into this much time for the business or investing or being on shows with you, John. I get to choose that. And that choice of not needing to exchange time for money, it's just
Hmm.
been a huge, huge win for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Time's the one thing we never can get back. We don't know when our end date is, but we know there's a finite amount of time. But there's, the time we're talking or recording this, the Fed keeps printing trillions of dollars out of thin air. So we can always get more money. We can't get more time back.
100% agree.
Yeah. Now, for anyone listening, and it doesn't have to be a copier salesman or a UPS driver, just anyone out there might be listening to this. Maybe they're in a similar situation. I can't stand my job, I can't stand my boss, the long days, whatever the case is. But maybe they don't have a great support network. Maybe they just feel stuck. Like, well, my parents only ever got to this level. I'm probably stuck in this job as well. What advice would you have to those people that feel that are stuck, that they're unable to break free from the W-2?
Whew. Two things come to mind. Vision. Create that vision. Have that target of what you've achieved. So when we do vision, we talk about things we've already accomplished,
Okay.
past tense. This is where I am, what I've created, what I have, and the time frame between now and then is irrelevant. Whatever that works for you, it's more of believing in that as attainable, which then allows you to build to re-engineer it or walk it back in creating those plans and action steps. And you'd be surprised on how much you actually know you're capable of doing once you have a target,
Yeah.
right? And having that in mind then comes down to this concept of the how to. Most people start with that, but no target in mind, which leads you in that epitome of a rat race, in my opinion, where you're
Yeah.
just on that hamster wheel circling, getting so exhausted and tired, but not seeing any results. Versus, I'm going to create this because
Hmm.
my vision states I've left my job. So back to my story, my vision initially was in 10 years, I will
Okay.
leave my job. I did it in 4. My
Wow.
wife did it in 5. and we contribute a large part to, we have everything we need in us. It's just now believing it and applying it in the steps that we are committed to taking.
Mhm.
So people that are stuck tend not to, which included me at the time, acknowledge that I am capable of committing 1 hour a day reading a book, 1 hour a day watching a podcast, 1 hour a day networking with strangers that makes you uncomfortable. However, they have
Yeah.
what I want and they're doing what I want to do.
Hmm.
So being willing to have that vision, which then creates the steps, which then puts you in the opportunity of now take action. You can set up for success, and it does take time. This is a journey. It's not a sprint. You
Right.
get to pace yourself according to what you claim you want and create that. There's no
Mhm.
limitations to what's in the future. You can't, Robert Kiyosaki once said, you can't lie in the future. It hasn't happened yet.
Yep.
And I don't recall who said it, but I believe it was Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you
Yep.
can,
You're
you're
right.
right either
Yep.
way.
Exactly.
So why not be right about your vision? Why not be right
Hmm.
about what you claim you want the most in life and design what you're willing to do to achieve it?
Exactly.
And that would be my starting point for those who feel stuck, those who are in a position, whether similar to mine or not, and just feel lost. Sit down quietly in a space and really get clear about where do I see myself in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? And what
Hmm.
do I have? What have I achieved? What am I doing? And then now you have a starting point to build a plan off of.
Yeah. No, great advice. I appreciate you sharing that. So, as we wrap this up, CJ, and again, I want to thank you for your time for coming on my show and educating and sharing your story with my listeners. I call this the hashtag unscrewed moment, where going into 2023, where can people find you, learn more about you? Are there any projects you're working on or anything you're excited about as we're going into 2023 here?
I am excited for what the shift of opportunity is going to look like in what we do in real estate. It's the Warren Buffett thinking around be fearful when everybody's greedy, greedy
Yeah.
when everybody's fearful. And prior to 2023, everybody was greedy around low interest rates, an
Yep.
abundance of qualifying. And now that things have shifted to numbers that haven't been seen for many, many years, if not decades,
Yep.
people are now being fearful, which then
Yep.
means there's opportunity somewhere. And I'm
Hmm.
excited to step into that opportunity and really capitalize on leveraging what I've worked so hard in growth and creation and now applying it in a slightly different manner in this new season in real estate investing.
Cool. Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. And, just like you said, with everything changing, we've got spoiled with low interest rates and now they're high interest rates. And people come to me almost every week. It's like, well, gee, what are you investing in? It doesn't make sense to get real estate. It's like, how about be the bank? I do a lot of private lending. I do fractional trust deeds. It's like interest rates are up 12%. I'd rather be the lender, not the borrower.
Right? There's always opportunity.
Exactly. So, well, I appreciate your time, CJ. Thanks for joining us, and I'll look forward to having you back on the show.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks again.